I've got a bit of a three-parter here, and this is probably a bit because of sort of crossing over sports. So I want to talk about nerves. So the first part of it is when in the process, when you know you've got a big match coming up, when do the nerves sort of start kicking in?
Uh, for me, I usually start to check in when I change my clothes and I start doing my stretch routine. And I like to stretch for a full hour if I have it, and I'm doing a body check. I'm getting myself into the mood and perspective that I need to have in order to work. When I'm done stretching, I put myself through like so many positions and test the limits on so many things. I feel like I could take on anything. After a really good stretch, I get up, jumping up and down on my feet, feeling great. When I start the stretch, I'm thinking about what I got tonight, and little nerves start kicking because it's like, okay, we got a job to do, let's go to work. And I start thinking, and then after stretching, I feel really good. I usually have some ideas in my head. I visualize, had, some kind of um, idea of something, that would be good in my mind for the night or whatever. And then after talking to whoever, when it comes time to start like warming up, I'm the nerves are creeping up on me right then, so we all have our own processes of dealing with nerves. One of mine is cannabis when it's there and available. It's not always, and that's okay too. It's just a preference, but then I can feel like I'm at my best because nerves plus anything that's not 100%. Maybe you're a little tired. Maybe you got food poisoning, God forbid, but maybe you got diarrhea. Maybe you got a little flu. Maybe you got a runny nose, just sinuses. You can't breathe right. There's so much, that's going against the ultimate way that you would like to be feeling, but you kind of like knock all of those down by warming up and convincing yourself, and you're fighting all those nerves. And then you sometimes when I go out through the curtain, I'm so calm, it's crazy. Sometimes I go through and just like, hey, I like that RVD song. Good for you. Hey, I know you're a fan. And I'm just like, I feel like my heart rate hasn't even gone up at all yet. And I'm just like so comfortable. And sometimes it's the opposite, especially if I've put a lot on my own task list as far as like risks, things that could be dangerous, whether I could get hurt or they could just go off. I hate to screw up, and when and miss something when it's at the expose of, still for me, memories of the crowd saying, "You effed up, you effed up." You know what I mean? That's what taught me to really be like, I do not. I want this to go off 100%. It taught me to be, so hard on myself, and so I go through all of that, and sometimes the nerves are while I'm like going down clapping. Sometimes I don't feel so great about the match yet, and I'm still thinking like, "Whew, okay, let's see." But then by the time I roll in the ring, usually confidence takes over. I'm like, "This is my office. How much time have I spent here? This ain't gonna be the one and only bad match that I've had in the last 20 years. Come on, you know."
Yeah, I get that. As soon as you get to sort of the stage or for yourself the ring, it's like this is the familiar bit. This is the bit I know. So all the
Yeah.
other bits can
Before
be
that, I'm preparing. I'm preparing, and part of preparing my mindset definitely does involve dealing with nerves of screwing up. Just nerves and that can, a screw up can happen in several different ways. But like I explained, it could be as simple as like me. And sometimes I want to challenge myself. Hey, I want to do a springboard off the guardrail and then do a helo into the crowd tonight. And then in my mind, I'm thinking like, man, I hope I don't slip on that springboard on the guardrail. And it really well, I can put so much pressure on. You can almost make yourself screw up if you don't deal with it right.
Do you have a preference on that? So you said that sometimes you come out, it's really calm. Sometimes I'm guessing it's before you step out, it's really butterflies. Do you prefer to come out with that adrenaline flowing, or do you like to sort of make the entrance when you're feeling calm and relaxed?
As long as I feel good, I guess I could see both of those being equally as good because sometimes when I'm like really calm, it's almost weird. I'm like, I almost feel like it's a dream. That's happened like a few times where I'm just like, dude, you are you warmed up? You got to go to a wrestling match. But I'm so comfortable. And it feels everything just feels so right on. But then times I can feel like that, get this Superman vibe going on where I'm not calm at all. I'm full of energy and I come out like, whoo, damn, I feel good right now. Like, boom, let's do this. And that's pretty fun too. That's probably what a lot of fans admire about wrestling and fantasize about being one of those wrestlers is having that feeling, like the Road Warriors used to say, "Oh, what a rush!" Like sometimes it's like that too, there's so many factors from what kind of travel I had to get there and how much rest and how the day went and I usually drink a couple of 5 hour energies in the day before leading up to my match, and so there's a lot going into the process, but I guess I prefer when I feel like Superman because it is a very physical thing, and I like better when I feel like jumping over the top rope from the floor than when I feel like just taking my time and just they're both good. But when it comes to getting in the ring and delivering and being the whole effing show, I like a little caffeine.
So if you was to give any advice, I've tried to pick out a few things within there for people if they was struggling with performance anxiety. From what I picked out in what you're saying, visualization, breathing, routine.
Absolutely. Yeah. You get a process. I mentioned the stretch. My whole routine, I think if you ask any wrestlers, I don't know about all the new guys as much, but from my generation, if you interviewed anybody and asked them who stretched before the match, I don't think they would tell you anybody but me because there was never, with the exception of two people, there was never throughout all of my years anybody that would like get down on the floor and put some time into and I have to feel like I'm at my best. I have to go through that, and then boom, I'm ready. But Devon Dudley stretches, and CM Punk stretched, and they didn't have an hour routine like me, but that was part of their daily process. Other people would come by and they would say like, "Oh man, I got to start stretching with you, Rob," and maybe they would do it for one day and then never do it again. And I understand that a little bit more now because it used to feel really great when I stretched every day because I was wrestling every day, and then after taking some time off because I'm not wrestling as much, it's not as enjoyable when it hurts to stretch. So I get that. I understand that. But my process before my match, I mean, I do jumping jacks, and I do certain foot jumps, going with my feet together, going side to side, shuffling forward and backwards, spinning, pivoting, while I'm jumping. I do some kicks, stretch my legs out. I do some other kicks, and that's I always in order to when I do all that, I'm like, dude, you're ready. And also I'm judging how I feel when I'm doing that. But yeah, for advice, get a process and stick with it. And then that is there's no guarantees you won't get hurt, but that's your insurance card. That's you doing what you can do to back up the investment you have in your body so that, after I stretch, I put myself through so many positions. I feel like when I go out there, I can take a DDT right on my head and fold over on my neck and I'll be fine. And that's because of my warm up and my process. And yeah, I would definitely advise anybody to do that. Some of the guys that just go out there and do a little bit of this and walk right out there, they must be the real tough guys because I don't think I could do that.
No, that is yeah. Well, stretching and it also warms the muscles up as well. Don't forget that's another key thing, especially when you're playing sports. Rob, just a
Gets
change
the
of
blood circulating,
yeah.
and also it's a body check. A lot of times before a match, I won't know what's hurt on me until I'm doing my stretch. So I'm like, oh, that's weird. I didn't notice my ankle was bothering me today until I start working on it. And I'm like, okay, I'll be conscious of that. And I even stretch my lungs too. Like we were talking about breathing. I stretch my lungs. I saw Randy Orton doing this a couple of years ago when I was just walking the dressing room. I was like, hey, that's my thing. I've never seen anybody else do that. And he said, I know you taught me. I was like, oh, okay.